Hey, Don, welcome to the Think Business with Tyler podcast show. How are you doing today?
I'm very good. Thank you for having me. How you
Yeah,
doing?
thanks for being on here. The way I'd love to start is I'd love to learn a little bit about you professionally, what you do. And then part two to that is maybe something about yourself personally, if you're willing to share it.
Yeah, absolutely. So on professional side, I'm the founder of 911 Restoration. That's one of the companies that I started over the past 20 years now. Today, 911 is a franchise system. We have about 120 offices around the US, growing to Canada, and we do water, mold, and fire damage mitigation. That's the business side. On the personal side, as you hear my accent, I'm originally from Israel. Moved here around 2000 with about $1,000. Um, yeah, today married, three kids, twin girls, 15 years old, and a boy, 14 years old, teenager in the house. It's crazy times, but beautiful times. And yeah, just enjoy life.
Very cool. So many things I want to talk to you about, but let's start with your entrepreneurial journey. So you come over here with $1,000. Did you know once you came over here, hey, I want to like have my own business, or were you I just need to make money? What was your thoughts when you first came over?
So yeah, I had to make money because
Yeah.
that's really everything I had. So I didn't really have a choice. But I didn't really come here thinking I want to start my own business or I want to build a company. I just came here from, we in Israel, in the movies, we see America, money grows on the trees, everything looks so easy and beautiful. Just got here and don't worry, we're going to find something. So that really was the idea behind coming here. I knew I'm not going to go to school, I'm not going to go to university back in Israel. So I was like, you know what? Let me just pack a small bag of clothes and come here.
Wow. And so how do you get to the point where you're running your own business? Your $1,000 doesn't go too far.
No.
So how do you get there?
So somebody was nice enough and gave us a job as a carpet cleaner. So we cleaned carpet for the first year. So we're like five guys, one bedroom apartment. We kept costs very, very low, crazy low. And yeah, so clean carpet, saved every dollar that we made. And at one point, when we kind of discovered the water, mold, and fire damage industry, we just started buying equipment slowly. So we bought the first blower and then another one and dehumidifiers and really keep investing everything back into, any piece of equipment that we need to really be able to do the type of work that we want to do.
Wow. And so when you said you found out about restoration business, was this as you were carpet cleaning, someone just brought it up to you, or how do you suddenly learn about this niche?
Yeah, so as we clean carpet, one day, about 8 months in or 7 months in, we got a call for a flooded house. And we didn't know anything about water damage or any of it. We just went out there with a carpet cleaning machine and we extract the water. And we thought that that's what you're supposed to do when house is flooded, right? And we extract the water, we charge $600. I'm like, wow, that's great. But as we're almost done. And then another company came in and they brought in blowers and dehumidifiers and cutting the walls and pulling the carpet. And we're like, okay, what's going on here? What these guys are doing? So then and another thing is that we realized that they are charging about ten to $15,000. So now the $600, it's great, but it's not as great, right? So we saw that. And the other part that we recognize at the same time is the homeowner is really going through an emotional disaster, but they're not really paying attention to it. They're so busy of creating even a bigger mess. And we just kept seeing the same behavior again and again and again, right? So after we got the first phone call, a month after, we got the same type of situation. And then again, and at that point, I'm like, okay, I see an opportunity here. This is a great business. And I see another opportunity here on the customer experience side. And this is where we start buying equipment and learning more about the water damage and got certified and went through the process of be able to operate as a service.
Wow. And so I think if I understand you correctly, you, in talking before we started the show, you got up to 3 million. Was that all in the restoration business, or
Yeah.
take me through that? How do you get to 3 million? Because that's a nice size small business.
Yeah, absolutely. So once we understand that this is what we want to do, the water, mold, and fire, this is where we stop working for the carpet cleaning company. We kind of work with them a deal and we took part of the company with us. At that point, We average about 250K a year. Then one night, went out for dinner, and as I'm eating, I'm hearing two people speaking about Google AdWords, advertising on Google. I don't think it was even Google AdWords. Then I'm like, okay, what? Google advertising, how it works? I need to figure this thing out. So I went back home that night, spent hours trying to figure out how to put an ad on online. Set up an ad. I didn't even have a website. I just put my phone number there instead of putting the URL for the website. 24 hours after, I got my first phone call. And then every day we start generating calls. We grew from 250 to north of 3 million in about a year and a half, a year and 8 months, something like that. So that was part of it. And then, but at the same time, we did so many other things just to generate more work, right? I remember one night we're just sitting there with a fax machine. We wrote on just blank paper. We can help you with water, mold, and fire, and everything else that you need. And we just fax it to every management company in the area, right? So just doing everything that we can just to generate more work.
Wow. So I, it sounds like, you were capital constrained because you did just come over to the country. You had $1,000. Now you were running, doing odd jobs at first, making a little bit of money, plowing it back into the business. How did you have that discipline? Because to buy equipment, it's not cheap. So I mean, you guys, what were you like living on beans and rice basically the whole time? I mean, you must have
Uh,
been pretty frugal.
we went to 99-cent store, and I think for $10, we bought enough, I call the noodles that comes in this small cup. I
Oh,
forgot.
cup of
Yeah,
noodles.
cup of
Yeah.
noodles. So
Okay.
we basically, this is the only thing that we ate for a long period of time. I mean, that night that we went there to the flooded house and we charged $600, we celebrated by going and by eating Chinese food. So we were super frugal. Like we didn't buy, we slept on the carpet like we with towels for a long period of time because we didn't really had a choice. And we were very disciplined minds. I grew up in a farm. Like I understand what it means to work hard,
Yeah.
right? And also, yeah. So we had a discipline, and we didn't really have a choice. It's not like I was able to, 6 months in, if something is not working well, I can call my parents, hey, wire me some money. This option wasn't really. I knew that they probably would do it if I need to, but
Sure.
they're going through their own thing as well, right? So we just have to do it. And we're very disciplined that every time that we finish a project, we knew exactly how much money we'll spend on gas, how much do we need to spend on different things, how much do we need to pay commission or something else for the company that we worked for. And we just try to save everything that we can.
Wow. So you were doing some type of, I'll call it back of a napkin type math accounting where you were projecting out what your expenses, your revenue would be, where that would leave you guys in terms of cash flow and payment. Is that what you were basically doing?
Oh, yeah, always.
Wow.
Right? So we always have kind of a running number and have like a note. Okay, this week this is how much we sold. This is how much the cost of living, the cost of gas. This is where I need to be. This is my break even. Above that number, I know that I can save a certain percentage. Above a higher number, I know that I can save 100%. So we always kind of run the numbers in our head. It says like at one point, can we start buying equipment? Right? And then we just broke it down into, and we set up our own goals. We said, okay, our goal is to get to a point that we have 10 blowers in 2 months. Like, okay, how much money we need to make, how much we can save, how much we can invest in buying equipment. I'm just doing the same thing again and again and again.
Wow. Now, restoration, are most of those jobs, does the insurance company pay you or what, so isn't there a little bit of a lag between when you actually do the job and when you get paid or yeah. So that's
Yeah.
another challenge, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it can be anywhere between 2 months to sometimes 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's really understanding the cost of doing the work, right? So cost of generating the work, the lead, the conversion of lead to job, right? The cost of performing the work, and then all the steps that need to fall into place to make sure that I can collect the money in X amount of time.
Wow.
And how can I carry that cost over the next 60 days or 6 months sometime?
Wow. Did you guys like just wake up one day and you're like, hey, we're doing restoration work now, forget about the $600 carpet jobs? Or were you kind of like towing between the two as you were getting the restoration fully going?
Yeah, so we're toying between the two. My
Okay.
goal, once I understand the restoration business,
Okay.
Great business to be in. I'm like, okay, I need to start doing less of the carpet cleaning because there is a point in the business that you understand, like, where do I put my effort in?
Right.
If I'm going to if I'm going to keep doing more carpet cleaning type of job for $100 or $200 or $300, what's the cost of opportunity here?
Yeah.
Right? So I'm saying, like, okay, I know I want to generate more restoration type of work, but if I'm going to spend most of my time answering phone calls and going and running around doing $150 type of job, it's going to be very hard for me to make that leap. Right? So start in our head, I'm like, okay, I'm going to limit the amount of carpet cleaning I'm going to do. I want to make sure that I'm going to have enough time spending marketing for the restoration type of work. And then whenever the restoration work came in, this was great, right? So we just did as many as possible.
Yeah, yeah. So if you had to reflect back now that you're where you're at now, is there anything you learned from your entrepreneurial journey where you'd go, wow, I would have done this different early on, or I would have approached this different? Anything stand out to you?
More on the building our team.
Okay.
That was a big challenge because we needed to build our team pretty fast,
Right.
right? And I didn't go to school, I didn't learn how to build a business. So I learned a lot of things as we grew. So holding people accountable, having a plan in place, right? Getting away from everything is in my head, right? To put it on paper, understand how it looks like, learning how to bring the team together. I think there's a lot of learning there.
Yeah.
Job description. I mean, for a long time, like, I don't need job description. I only have 5 people working for me. It's not a big deal. At one point, like, no, I need a job description. People need to understand what they do. They need to understand what I'm holding them accountable for. And it's also good for the people that are working on my team, right?
Yeah.
Just having more clarity because in the beginning, it's like you're running around like chicken with no head. Like, I
Yeah.
have so many work, like a lot of businesses coming in. I have people everywhere. I don't really have structure in place because, and that's what I see a lot. I see it every day with all of our franchisees, right? You going from, a business owner, you're doing everything. You don't really plan everything right. You're just running around. You think that everybody understands what's going on in your mind. A lot of business owners believe that their team can read their mind and understand what is it that they're asking them to do, right?
Right.
So if I would go back now, this is one of the things that I would change because growing the business that fast, I mean, fast for me for a small business, it was
Okay.
pretty good jump forward. But, losing 10, 20% just as a leakage it's very easy thing to happen. And we're not
Yeah.
even aware of it,
Yeah.
right? So that was a big part of our growth.
Wow. What, on that line of building good teams, solid teams, you mentioned the word accountability. Do you have any certain criteria like so job description, accountability? What else do you think is involved in terms of building a great team?
Oh, yeah. First of all, clear goals,
Okay.
right? And then key metrics of how are we going to reach those goals. So, for example, I want to get to $1 million by the end of the year. Okay, how are we going to get there? So, how many leads do I need to generate every month? What's the conversion per lead? What's the average per job, right? And then making sure that everybody is clear on how we're going to get there. So, at one point there was the company goals and there was the goals for each department, and each department hang their goals on their department area, so everybody can see everybody's goals, everybody can see everybody's job description, and everybody understand how we hold everybody accountable. The same thing with me as the CEO. So the same thing that I did with everybody in the company, I did it with myself as well. So everybody can walk into my office, by my office, here is my goals, right? So that gives clarity and accountability, but accountability from the place of helping my team advance, right? I think, I mean, at one point I still do an advisory board around me, just so I have more people that look into the business from the outside and hold all of us accountable, right? So I think it's a key metric. So job description, business plan, you know, we are on a monthly, on a bi-weekly basis. We'll have a quick meeting so everybody knows how everybody else are doing and who can help who, right? That's another very, very important part because sometimes when you sit with all the department, if we don't have that level of clarity, people live that people sometimes will feel that they live on their own island.
Right.
No, we just do the marketing. No, we just do the customer service. We just do that, right? So very often I'll get everybody to sit together so people understand how each activity affects everybody else.
Right, right. So you mentioned advisory board. What's your advisory board like? Is this people, is this part ownership, or are these just colleagues? Are these people that in the community that you trust? How did you form your advisory board?
So I'm based on where I want to be as a company,
Okay.
right? So let's say I want to grow, let's go to the past, right? So I wanted to grow from 50 offices to 80 offices. Okay, so I need somebody that have that experience, but I want one person that is expert in franchise sales.
Mm.
And I want another person that expert in operation. And I want another person that expert in developing brand, right? So I'm finding people based on where is it that I want to be. Because once you work with people that already did it many times, I mean, it's part of it's in their nerve system.
Right.
For them, it's like, okay, we already did it 10 times. We can help you. We know exactly how it's supposed to look like, right? So we'll meet with them on a quarterly basis and present the plan, get everybody to go over what is their goals and key metrics. And basically, it's kind of it's an advisors, right? Hold everybody accountable and making sure that we're moving along the way.
Um, are those paid roles generally just for the audience, like benefit maybe someone that's thinking about starting their own advisory board for their company? Do you pay for those roles, or how do you
Oh,
structure
yeah.
that? Okay.
Yeah. Hey,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
You're surprised. There's great people out there, usually older, right?
Yep. Yep.
Around 60, 70. And they would love to do it. And it's not that expensive to put people in place. And yeah, I found great people that just want to be part of something. They're excited to see another company growing. They want to work with entrepreneurs. So it's not that hard. You just need to think about it and be very clear who is the people that you want to bring on and why, and really understand that they're aligned with your goals. And another part is I made sure that, a lot of people, especially when you're the owner of the company, no, Idan, you're great. Idan, this is amazing. This is wow, well done. I'm like, okay, that's not what I'm paying you for. I need you to find holes. I need you to find where I'm wrong, right? So I always make sure that I have the people that have really that attitude of telling me things just like straightforward. Like, Idan, listen, you're off. Okay, I
Right.
appreciate it. Because that I see it as an opportunity for me to evolve and grow and improve.
Yeah. That's great. That's a real open mind. Now, what did you say? Rise is RYZE? Is that how you spell it?
The what?
I thought you mentioned a website. You can find them on, you said find advisory.
Oh no, this is everywhere. You can find them on LinkedIn.
Oh,
You can
oh,
really
got it. Got it. I'm
yeah.
sorry. I thought
No,
you
I
said a
didn't use
website.
any specific website. I
Got it.
just
Got it.
based
Got it.
on their experience. Yeah.
Yeah. So you reach out. Do you actually kind of identify potential partners and then or advisory members and you actually reach out to them? Wow.
Yeah. You
Very
just
cool.
yeah. This
Wow.
is very simple. Yeah. There's really not. Yeah. I found it very overly. It's easy. I mean, it was easy for me. I have this mentality, like if I want to find somebody or get somebody on the phone, I'll get somebody on the phone,
You make it
right?
happen.
It's going to take me a day, a week, a year. I'll find a way to get somebody on the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You make it happen, basically, is what you do. So, hey, I want to switch gears. So it's awesome. You went from this small business, multi-million dollar small business, now to this empire, basically, where you have all these franchises. I'm dying to know the story because franchising generally is a pretty complicated thing.
Yeah.
Here you come over from the country, you got $1,000. You start with nothing. You're doing carpet cleaning. Then you happen to figure out this restoration business, which, oh, by the way, is very lucrative, has great profit margins. How do you get to now being a franchisor and taking on franchisees?
So that's it. So the end of 2005 is when Katrina happened in New Orleans. It was devastation. So I went there, like I want to have a new experience, see how we can help people. There's so much work. Um, I got there, devastation was did whatever did. I mean, I sent there 3 crews ahead of me. I joined them a few days in. We brought a lot of equipment, big truck, everything. There was so much work to do. And the thing is, because there was so much work, there is many other restoration companies that came in from all around the country. So now there's a lot of work where all of us are in a different area. So we're not really competing with each other because it's just work for everybody. And at night, we just like, there was an area that everybody parked their RVs and everything. So we got to interact and meet a lot of other restoration company owners. And one of the things that I noticed is, and again, I'm brand new to the country. I came here, I barely spoke the language. And I'm sitting there and I'm meeting people that have been in the industry for 10, 15 years, 20 years. And a lot of them are averaging, around $400,000, $500,000, $700,000 in revenue. And I'm like, what's wrong here? I'm brand new here. I got to this number. Why they're stuck at that number? And as I spend more time with them, I notice that they are super passionate about the trade. So they will spend hours talking to me about the blowers, the humidifiers, how they set up the van and all that. And the only thing that goes in my mind is strategy, sales, marketing. How do we grow? Where is my next clients and on and on. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. At the same time, I knew that I'm generating a lot of leads through online lead generation. So if I can do it in LA, I can do it really anywhere else. I'm like, okay, maybe there is something here. So I start asking them, what if I can help you now cross the $1 million? Because I can help you with leads and I can help you with strategy and we can talk about really how to develop a unique customer experience. So I start building some relationship in New Orleans. I came back to LA when we were done there and like, you know what, I'm going to give it a try. And I just told them, look, we're going to work out a license agreement, a referral agreement. I didn't think about franchise at all. I thought about the opportunity that how can I do 1 + 1 = 5? That was the only thing that I had in my head. So I did 1, worked very, very well, then 2, then 4. At one point, I had about 10 license agreements out there. And the lawyers that wrote the license agreement for me told me, like, Idan, you cannot keep using the license agreement. You're becoming a franchise. I'm like, franchise? What do you mean? What's the difference? Like I never thought about franchise. I only focus on adding value. That's the only thing I wanted to do and collaborate with great people. So I'm like, okay, so let me look into the franchise. So we spent about 12 months trying to figure out franchise agreement and FDD and how it's going to work. And now I need to organize everything and build department in a certain way so everything matched. So it took some time to do it, and we became a franchise legally by the end of 2007. We started franchising around 2009. So this is really how we became a franchise.
Wow. And how many franchisees do you have now?
So we have about 120 owners. We're covering more than 300 territories. Yeah.
Wow. So I'm sure when you started out, so you were generating leads off like Google AdWords or whatever, different, probably a little bit different than it is today in terms of competition and lead generation. Is that something still that you offer to your franchisees, or is it more of the system of how to be, how to follow the right process and stuff like that?
Yeah, it's all of it. Yeah, so we
Okay.
still have lead generation as part of it,
Okay.
but the lead generation become kind of like a secondary thing because
Got
a lot of it is the system. How do I build the business? Who is my clients? How do I set up a company? How do I operate a company? Accountability, job description, all of it is part of it. And also, we've been developing the brand now since 2003, 2004. Right? So we have a brand name. We're known, starting to be known, really. So that's one. And also we're training them on how to generate leads locally, right? So business development, who do I need to go to talk to? Like where is the marketing materials and on and on. And then we have also national account, right? So we build relationship with large companies that own a lot of real estate or manage a lot of real estate. So it's how to start a business, how to build a business, how to scale the business, and then the 3 lead generation silos, right? So it's online, locally, national account as well.
Got it. Wow. So what do you see? So now as you build your franchise and sounds like it keeps getting bigger, what are your biggest obstacles in terms of scaling? Like what keeps you up at night in terms of your next steps to get where you want to go?
Yeah. So it took us a while to really build the company to a place that now we can scale it,
Okay.
right? So now with the place that we can really, I want to jump from 120 to 250 location pretty fast now, right? So really taking my sales team and building it up. At the same time, really focusing on bringing more national accounts. So this is the 2 areas that we're really focusing on. And I mean, we just finished a big jump forward in the sense of really our brand and the customer experience. Because for me, it's always go back to customer experience, right? I can market all day, I can scream all day, we're great, we're great, we're great. But if we're not providing a unique customer experience, we're going to see a rise and then we're going to see a fall, right? So in the past 2 years, we really owned the customer experience part, the communication, bringing the right platform into the business, bringing a lot of AI to different departments so we can be a lot more efficient. The support level, the customer experience level. So now for us is really like, okay, how we make this big jump forward and bringing the right franchisees in. That is another big part. Really identify who is the right franchisees. Empathy is a big part for us. And we also sell exclusive territories, right?
Mhm.
So I don't believe in just, selling licenses and whoever the strongest will win. We really want to find the right partners I want them to have the sense of this is your business. This is your area. You need to take care of it. We need to do it together here, right? So for us to identify the right franchisees with the right attitude that have the right experience to really build a good business. So
So,
that now that we want to grow faster, we need to be very tight here and make sure that we're following the right process.
so is it fair to say then you have franchisees apply to you and you sometimes don't think they're the right fit?
Oh,
Does that
absolutely.
really, does that happen a
Yeah.
lot?
Oh, yeah. All the
Really?
time. Like all the
Wow.
time. We're not selling franchise. We're awarding franchise. The process
Ah,
is of an education system, right? So my goal for somebody that comes in, I want to know more about you, but I also really want you to understand what you're getting into, right? Some people have the idea, yeah, I'm going to buy a franchise, I'm going to pay the fee, I'm going to buy, and then I'm just going to sit and wait for just my people just going to call me. It's like, no, you need to put some work in it. There's a collaboration piece. Yes, your phone will ring because we have other like the online and the brand and on, but we want to build a business. We don't want just to sit and be passive, right? So we want to make sure that when people join us is the people that can build a team that people will follow. People that people want to work with, right? It's
yeah.
very, very important. So yeah, I think we're saying no to most people,
Wow.
right?
Wow.
If you really look at the numbers, yeah.
I love that mindset of you're not buying a franchise, you guys are awarding a franchise.
Yeah.
It really kind of turns the table in terms of how a franchisee would look at the opportunity.
Yeah. Because look, at this point, I mean, it works,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
We see so many people being successful in our system. I mean, it's a great business. The system work. We've been doing it for a long time now. So now is for, and we understand the difference when we don't look. It's not a good day when we bring somebody in and then he's not doing well, and and I mean it's really bad day if we need to close the business, right? I mean we don't, because also think about his side. He put all the time in, he put the investment in, and on and on and on. We want to see people being successful,
Yeah.
right? So
That's
it's
great.
important that we bring the right people in.
Now, have you guys designed? I know there's like, packages like Jobber for home service type businesses. Have you developed your own software for tracking leads, clients,
Yeah.
quotes, and all that? Is that an in-house thing you guys have done?
Yeah, yeah. So we develop
Wow.
our own CRM system,
Wow.
dispatch system. We have a whole system that measure. So we have unique phone number, unique landing pages for online lead generation, and then also unique phone number per location. And we measure all from where did we receive this lead? It was converted. What's the total amount? How did we work with the lead? What was this like? So we really build the entire system so we can have more control and visibility. It was very important to me that because knowing all the AI and the advancing technology and here and in, I want to make sure that I have the ability, right, to bring in fast enough different features so I'm not dependent on a third party and then I need to wait for them and on and on. So there's a lot of things that we can do in the back end, really getting more insight into the business, right? Because it is the details make a big difference.
For sure.
Right? We want to understand how much we spend to generate how much work and it's converted well and how long it got us to get paid and on and on.
Yeah. So I want to go back. I'm just about ready to wrap up, but I do have one last question I want to get into. You talked about customer experience a lot and having a certain level of uniqueness. And I know there's people out in the audience because I've heard this before where they'll say, "Man, I'm just doing hardwood floors. I mean, there's nothing unique about doing hardwood floors," or "I'm doing restoration work. There's 30 other people in my community that do the same thing as me. There's nothing unique about it." But you have this passion when you talk about it, like you're different. So can you give us some insight or tips, or how do you break away from that mindset of it's just the same as everybody else and create that uniqueness that you give a special customer experience?
Yeah, of course, because for example, if I put wood floors in, right? I'm not just putting floor, I'm creating new environment for the homeowner, right? They have a dream, right? If they've been saving for so long because they want this a new beautiful floor, I'm not just putting wood floor in, I'm creating a beautiful environment. Right? When somebody goes through a disaster, he doesn't care about my blowers or dehumidifiers or how I cut the wall. What they want to make, they're going through an emotional disaster thing. I wake up in the morning, I'm a mom with three kids. I woke up, I'm walking downstairs, my house is flooded. I need to make sure, like, okay, I need to feed my kids, I need to take them to school, how I'm going to pay for it, how much it's going to cost me. There's so much worry. I want to be I want to represent a fresh start for them. I want, yes, you're going through a disaster right now, but I got you, right? Because I'm listening to you and I understand what you need as a customer, but I also understand what's the good that will come out of it. And that's the only thing that I really communicate and work with my client. If they want to know more, yeah, we can explain them about the equipment and on and on. But I understand that from my client perspective, I mean something else for them. It's not about drying their house. Yeah, drying the house is a secondary. In our mission statement, we have nothing about the actual trade, the actual service that we do.
Hmm.
It's all about what we want to represent for people. What do I want? How do I want to add value to people's life? So, handyman, roofer, don't look at what you actually do. Look at what it means to the client, right? And when we think about it this way, I'm like, okay, where is the biggest pain point between what we do to our client? Communication is a big thing, right? They worry about it, don't want to see it. They worry enough because their house is flooded. The last thing that they need to worry about, when you're going to show up, do I know what's going on? Did you speak with my adjuster? How is going to work? So, okay, let me take the level of communication now to the next level, because I understand that in their life, this is a very, very important part, right? So I always do something that I whiteboard in front of me and we drew the customer, right? So we do a mom and a dad and the kids and what their hobbies and what they like and what they think about, what they don't care about, and on and on and on. It's like, okay, how can I add value to that person at that moment that they're going through that disaster? Right. And we use it for communication, we use it for marketing, we use it to understand buying cycle, right? So the last thing is, of course, you have to provide good work.
Right.
I'm taking that is, of course.
Right.
But then at that point, you work with people. Just really pay attention to the words that they're using, the way they think about what they do, what it means to them when you're done. And this is what you need to be. It's much more fulfilling to build a business when you think about it from that standpoint to I just put floors in. Okay, for how many years I can do it? It's not that fun.
Yeah.
But I'm creating new spaces for people. Okay, now it's getting more interesting. Now there's more inspiration to it. Now when we talk to our team, I don't talk to them about the trade. I talk to them about what we means for people. Like, listen, for example, if I sit now, I know you asked me a question, I'm giving you a long answer.
No, it's great.
It's good. Okay, so with my customer service people, so when you ask them what they do, they're not just answering the phone call every day. They are helping people that going through a disaster and making sure that they have the best service provider showing up in their house so they have a better future. Okay, so this is what I do. I'm not just answering the phone call. You see, even for himself, it means more.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yeah, it's like a whole nother level. I mean, I I'm sure some people are going to pass right by this and not really absorb it, but there's just so much depth to what you're saying. It's like a whole nother level of thinking. I mean, we're emotional creatures. So once we kind of connect on the emotional side of people and understanding that, I don't care what it, even like, many years ago, I used to tax returns. Um, it wasn't the tax return that why people hired me. I mean, they needed to get that done, but they hired me because they perceived trust. They perceived that they could rely on me getting it done. They knew they were going to go to response at any hour of the night, oftentimes if they had a problem. And that created value. And with that value, allowed me to probably charge 5 times more than the person next to me. And they were happy to do it, at least most of them. I mean, obviously, some would. That wasn't my market and they'd go somewhere else. But the ones that
Yeah,
were, yeah. So yeah, I mean, there's just so much gold in what you're saying. It's just like, it's next level stuff.
absolutely.
Yeah, cool.
Absolutely.
Okay, so hey, your website is 911restorationfranchise.com.
Yep.
911restorationfranchise.com. I'll put that in the show notes at thinktyler.com when we publish the show. If people wanted to reach out to you, is there anywhere else or anything else you want to add that I didn't cover?
No, we're good. LinkedIn will be a good place. I'm more active on LinkedIn. So yeah, and my name is unique enough. So Idan Shipzear. I'm just gonna come up. Yeah.
It's an easy one. And then Idan, for if there is someone out there, hey, maybe this is a type of trade I'd want to do. What's the general profile of someone that would potentially be a good fit as a franchisee?
Somebody that have more of the kind of business development mindset, people
Okay,
that are okay with getting out there, with building a team, with being in front of people. This is where we see the most amount of success. Now, it doesn't mean that this is the only thing, right? Because we have great people that only care about operation, but then they hire the right people,
got it.
right? But overall, entrepreneurs, we see, people that like to get things done.
Get it done. Yeah, I hear you. Okay, well, hey, thanks so much for being on the show. You so much wisdom today. I really appreciate it, and hopefully, maybe in the near future, you can come back again.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.